You're listening to Otto's Powerhouse.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's podcast. This is Pato saying hello and thank you for listening because, well, God knows I know you have options. So, November 12th, it was, well, happy belated Veterans Day to everyone who served. And we lost a legend that day. Unless you've been living under a rock or you're just not into the comic book thing or you haven't watched the Avengers or any Iron Man or you just, I mean, obviously you don't know who Stan Lee is, but obviously for most of us and a lot of people, thousands, perhaps millions, we are sad that we lost the legend, Stan the Man Lee, rest in peace. Now, the man was 95 years old, and when we talk about him, like most of his fans, because I want to celebrate his life, I guess, and remember and know that, I mean, it's incredible what this man started back in 1961. I mean, it's still going, still entertaining. Those heroes that they created in a span of a decade. I mean, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Fantastic Four. I mean, we are watching those movies right now. Last 10 years, I mean, we've been watching Marvel movies, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. And we owe all this to this one man. Now, this is just a quick bite-sized podcast, and I just wanted to touch a little bit on this. Cursory Overload, episode 22, we're putting the finishing touches on that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to pay our respects and celebrate the life of Stan Lee and all the great things that he did. I mean, because no matter how you slice it or dice it, he influenced pop culture in a way that not many have. I mean, I was thinking, I mean, when I was in kindergarten back in 1979, gosh, that sounds so way back in the day, because it is. But what I'm saying is, I remember my mom bought me a lunchbox. Now, back then, I mean, obviously, live action movies weren't like they are today, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but I had a lunchbox with practically all the Avengers, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor, Scarlet Witch, The Vision, Daredevil, Yellow Jacket. Wow, it had all these characters in there, and it was one of those metal lunch boxes, the one that had the little thermos inside and you could put your sandwich in there. And I was a kid. I mean, I wish I would have kept it. I don't know what happened to it, quite honestly. I was 5 years old. So it's been quite some time since that, but I remember having that lunchbox. I remember, I don't know, the joy it gave me to look at all those characters. And since I was a kid, obviously, I guess a lot of us here, especially here in this country, we've grown up with the secret superhero complex, or secret desire of being a superhero. Pato the Ghost Rider, podcaster by day or night or whatever the fuck this is, and superhero. I don't know. The thing is that these comic books, these movies, these creations gave us an escape, And what made these movies different is that Stan Lee's creations, unlike Superman, I mean, who was a Boy Scout, good guy, no flaws, perfect, you know. He was very Mary Poppinish, practically perfect in every way. I mean, the Marvel characters were flawed. They weren't rich. Some of them were struggling. Some of them, I mean, like, their powers didn't happen to come from, I mean, they didn't come from another planet. Their powers happened to them because they had some kind of a freak accident, like the Incredible Hulk. Gamma ray explosion. Then I'm just, wow, I mean, Daredevil, think about that. This kid who loses his sight, but his other senses developed. I mean, it's, well, like I said, these are amazing stories. And we owe all this to one man's, how can I say, his push, his drive. It's like, yes, it was comic books, and people could have dismissed it as like, oh yeah, comic books, whatever. But I mean, it's funny because we all find an escape on that. And watching the internet, the way young kids, and of course us older people too, the way people have been paying the respects and just coming together to celebrate the life and I don't know, should we say he's gone, but he leaves a great legacy. I mean, we're going to continue watching Marvel movies because now that the mouse owns it, I mean, they're going to continue expanding. But all that they're doing originated back in 1961. And like I said, all that, whatever was in the air, came from this man, the push from this man, Stan the Man Lee. Of course, Jack Kirby was part of the mix there too, but in the past years, I mean, because of all the cameos, I mean, it's crazy. We all know Stan Lee. I mean, he's become a staple in all those superhero movies. Even other different type of movies too, I guess. Now, I never got to meet the man. I kind of feel at a loss for that. You see, a year and a half ago, he was 9 at the time, almost 10. He's 11 now, but a year and a half ago, when he was still 9, T-Bone, my little one, wanted to meet Stan Lee, and he was like really concerned about the fact that Stan Lee's age was, he's up in age there. He's not going to be around very much longer. Now, I wish I could tell you that we went to a Comic-Con and he got his picture. But no, that didn't happen. A year and a half ago, Stan Lee was here in Glendale, Arizona, and I tried, but went to the website, everything was booked. Photo ops, meeting the man, he was booked. I made a few phone calls, but let's just say Pato's not wealthy enough to overturn anything there, And I understand, that it's like work. I mean, appointments get booked. It is what it is. They follow a schedule. I mean, I never. Well, I mean, I started looking into it when it was too late. It had already been booked, and a lot of these events, I mean, gosh, they book fast. I mean, and someone like Stan Lee, I mean, you got to understand. A lot of people wanted to meet him. I mean, it'd be awesome to have a picture with Stan Lee. I mean, sure, you could Photoshop yourself now, but it'll never be the same. I wonder how many people are going to do that. Oh, I met the man, and Photoshop themselves. Yeah, gosh, that is a fucking ridiculous. But I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Like I said, I never had the privilege to meet the man. I wish I would have. I wish I would have been able to, deliver what the little one wanted, but it didn't happen. Luckily, he's not scarred by that. But we both share. I explained to him, look, he's booked. It's not gonna happen. He was like, well, I'm like, hey, you got the comic books, you got the movies, and you got the cameos. I mean, and we will always remember the old man, because wow, I mean, come on. Thanks to Spider-Man, we got phrases stuck in our heads that go like, with great power comes great responsibility. Things like that. Things that give you a little bit of a moral, do the right thing type of push, As I am here talking and thinking, a lot of thoughts go through my head, and we sometimes, we all wish we could do things differently, We think, oh, well, if I had a chance to do this, I would do this, I would do that. And made me realize, that tomorrow's not promised to anyone. Now, I don't want to be a bummer with this one. I just want to take a few minutes to celebrate Stan Lee's life. What he did, the legacy he leaves behind. And, of course, we'll enjoy. I mean, now when we go see Infinity Wars, I imagine there's going to be a cameo there, too. So that's going to be interesting. Something I found on the internet too, apparently on the Titans movie, there's a cartoon cameo of the man too. And, which I found totally cool, because obviously Titans are DC, and somebody's like, this is DC. And you just see the little cartoon guy going like, DC, I gotta get out of here. And then he's like, screw this. I love cameos. And you just hear Robin, Stan Lee, shut it. It's I found that funny. But anyway, that's all I wanted. I'm gonna stop here because Cursory Overload episode 22, we're gonna pay tribute to Stan Lee and talk about the movies and how, in one way or another, we've all had something to do with what this man does, either lunchboxes, t-shirts, comic books, the movies we watch. And maybe sometimes even our moral compass. Although some of us have our moral compasses are broken. But what I'm saying is, some of us learn that with great power comes great responsibility. I don't know. I'm saying all these things because, well, I feel like I've lost a hero. But when I think about Stan Lee too, I think 95 years old, the man lived a full life. And he got to see that what he created back in the day was relevant years later. 1961. By 91, that was 30 years later. By 2001, 40. 2011, 50. And if he would have been around 2021, that would have been 60. But heck, isn't it amazing to just know that something that you started 50 years back is still relevant today and just going strong? It's freaking awesome to... come on. We're all going to go see Infinity Wars. And that's Marvel. And that's Stan Lee. So, what can I say? I want to thank you all for tuning in. Usually I tell you, you know what? I am going to tell you to live each day like it's your last one, because it very well could be. Take the time to be with your loved ones. Show them you love them. Tell them you love them, because that's the neat junk that makes life worth living. And it is. It is, man. Oh, wow. I just wanted to take a few minutes, of your time. Talk about Stan Lee. Talk about, get it out of my system too, because you might be going like, man, you never met the man, Can you imagine? I never met him. But yet, the man had so much influence in our lives. My life, I have a lot of respect for him.